I was almost the victim of a premeditated murder. Um, that's part of my story, but as far as um, the fear of being killed or murdered, all of that, I mean, I my earliest memory of something like that happening was when I was about 4 years old. I was in pre-K, and um, my sister and I, we lived in Oklahoma at the time, and we were getting ready to go to school. And I remember my mom just telling us to run, like towards the woods, and um, I just hear this like belligerent man that we lived with. At one point, we called Dad. This was before my other two siblings were born, but he hated my sister and I, and he had been up all night drinking and was just angry for no good reason. There was never a good reason, and he was extremely abusive in multiple different ways. And I was, since it was just us two, I was the youngest, so my mom and my sister, they just start running, and I start running, and we're running towards the woods. This is before school, and I was the last one because I was just younger and slower and smaller, and I just like feel this pain in the back of my leg, and he had shot me with a BB gun, which I didn't know what it was. I just was fearful, scared, in pain, and I just remember crying, and my mom and my sister came and scooped me up, and then he was just yelling over me, telling me that you're gonna be fine, and made me go to school anyways. And I just remember thinking, like, what was that? Like, it just, that's like my first like memory of like just being completely in fear of my life. You know, as a little girl, you don't really know the difference between guns, but when you see a grown man that, quote unquote, your dad, you know, chasing you before school, threatening to kill you, I mean, it was scary. And I mean, it just got worse from there. Um, there's so much more within that household. If the walls could talk, you know. And I still always wonder what happened to my mom that day after she took us to school. But I do remember when she picked me up. It was we only went to school for like a half day, or like I did. So she picked me up, and I like smelled like the most wonderful smelling smell ever. And, you know, we didn't ever have a lot of food and all of that. And it was a Hot Pocket, and that smelled so good. I was like, what is that smell? And she told me, and then I ate it, and it was glorious. And I'll never forget the smell or taste of that. I have not had a Hot Pocket since then that tasted or smelled as good. But I think that was like her way of just like, I mean, she shouldn't have been sorry for anything, but her way of just like nurturing me, I guess, knowing what I had gone through. It was really never spoke up of again. I mean, that was it. I just had to deal with that and still live in that home. And that's just one tiny story. And that's kind of like what I'm having trouble with, is like, where do I start? So I guess that's the start. And I'm just going to kind of just start telling little pieces of stories. And then what I would like love and appreciate from like anybody who watches is like ask questions, because it helps me like think of things. And I know 100% like as I'm storytelling about my life, like I'm going to forget stuff, and I feel like I might even sometimes be like all over the place. But like I feel like the questions can help me like dig in a little deeper, and just think about it differently, I guess, and be able to see it and maybe spark a memory. Or, you know, and even my siblings that are on here and had gone through some stuff, but and I want to tell my story from my point of view as a kid. My sister, she has a different, childhood. We had the same childhood, but, she was 23 months older than me, so she has different memories. I have some that she doesn't remember. She has some that I don't remember, and then our younger siblings in Oklahoma, chime in, if there's stuff that y'all remember, I would, or anybody for that matter, friends, family, that would help me to unravel this traumatic mess in my head. Because I'm just going to leave it here. I might end up like going back and writing more, which I did reread the part that I did write already, which wasn't much. But it's interesting. I actually really enjoyed it. Maybe this will help me get to that point of getting back to writing it. And another part to this whole entire story is after my mom passed away, my sister and I found a book that she had started to write about her life. Holy moly. It's very interesting. I found out some stuff that I never knew that I wished I did, because it did change my perspective on a lot of things, and I probably would have certainly done things a little bit different, but I understand why she didn't. As a mom, she was trying to protect me, and I love my mom so much. She was literally the most nurturing person, sweetest soul, best friend. I talk to her every single day. It's been like the biggest hole in my whole entire heart. But she's actually my inspiration too. She was brave enough to like write her story down, and a lot of people knew about some of her stuff, and now we have these platforms, and I'm just wanting to put my story out there. So that's just one little tidbit. I will elaborate like here and there and just see what questions I get or what it inspires in me to talk about next, and kind of work my way through my life. But thanks for listening.